it's a big country, and maybe sometimes you have vineyards where there aren't a lot of people. So is that's part of the equation that has determined how quickly people can expand, where people can put vineyards.
Yeah.
Is there a lot of mechanical harvesting going on in Argentina because of the difficulty with finding employees?
Oh, people is easy to find. The problem is giving them a place to stay when you're doing something. We can go back to now Neuquén, that is a region that 15 years ago didn't exist at all. And it was Julio Viola who built now a Bodega del Fin del Mundo. And he's one of the new pioneers because he went to this land. He had to build a water system, bringing it from the river for 20 kilometers.
Wow.
To bring water to
drinking water and
for the vineyards.
For irrigation.
For irrigation, yes.
It's a huge project.
Huge. It's amazing to see. So what's happening today in Argentina? People like in Chile, you see when Marcelo was talking, going up, going north, going south, going to the coast. Well, in Argentina today, they're definitely going south. They are finding there is a new winery in La Pampa, Neuquén, Rio Negro. Well, it's an old region, but you have new wineries that are using old vineyards and are making Pinot Noirs out of this world. You know, Canale is the most traditional winery in Rio Negro. But then you have La Condesa, the Countess of Cinzano. Yeah. You have Piero Cisa de la Roqueta, and they're all making these crazy
They
wines.
Are indeed, yeah.
With very old vines. And people now are moving to the east, but those are experiments close to the Buenos Aires, close to the Atlantic. So there Tucumán, that didn't exist before, is part of the Calchaquí valleys, all the way in the north. Now there's 2 or 3 wineries. So the success of the wine industry in Argentina and the know-how and all these flying winemakers and the possibility for the wineries, the winery owners and the winemakers to fly and go somewhere else, they're bringing all of that to Argentina and they're expanding. Uco Valley, 20 years ago, it was like La Mancha in Spain. Nobody wanted to go because it was very dry, no water. Today, everybody's hot about La Mancha because it's dry, no water. And Uco Valley is the same. Nobody wanted to go because there was no water.
So we have a question here from Jay Trika. A question for you about the Dedicado. Evidently, this is made only in what Flickman calls exceptional years. Are there specific vintages that you mentioned? I think 2002.
Yes.
Are there other vintages that really have been wow vintages?
It's hard. I think that 2010 was a good one, but you know what? Good one is related to many things because what we don't have our vineyards are almost organic because we don't need to spray with any chemicals because we don't have rot, we don't have humidity. But we have hail.
So that's very interesting.
So it could be a fabulous vintage, but the vineyard was attacked by hail and it was decimated.
So you don't have rain really, but you do get hail.
Yes.
That's terrible.
Hail could be rocks like this. Most of the vineyards in Mendoza, they are covered by nets.
Actually, I saw a picture of that, and it was kind of dark. The picture was kind of dark, but you saw. I didn't know if it was hail netting or bird netting, but row after row after row.
That's hail. And they've been experimenting, putting the nets like this, putting like chalet, Swiss chalet.
That's what I saw. Swiss chalet. Yeah. Swiss chalet netting.
But those are to avoid destruction of the fruit, but you have to be careful because of the sun exposure. You still want to have good quality fruit.
Sure.
But when you put the nets,
you're cutting out and blocking out some of the sun.
So there is and also it's very expensive. But you can have it's like in Miami when it rains in one block and the other one doesn't.
Next door doesn't rain.
So it could be that it falls hail in 1/4 of a vineyard and that vineyard is totally decimated. It will take 5 years to grow again to be 7 years, 10 years. So that's a big problem.
So it's kind of interesting because there are several financial issues that you've presented getting irrigation,
Mm-hmm.
protecting against hail. It's almost surprising that people are still expanding their operations, and it's also surprising because the wines are not particularly. A lot of the wines are not terribly expensive in the U.S.
Mm-hmm.
It seems to be, and starting a vineyard is always very financially difficult. It's a financially what's the word I'm looking for? Intensive
Yes.
Type of farming.
Yeah, it is.
But here it's even more because the irrigation can be
but
wildly expensive.
But there are water laws, or water rights, that the government institutes. So everybody, when a producer buys a vineyard, he has to know that there's some water rights, and that he will have water coming down from and now they have a reservoir. So definitely it's expensive, but of course you cannot compare an acre of vineyards in Napa to the cost of an acre of vineyards in Argentina.
No.
Not yet.